Hello, and welcome to another B.T.F.O, or Brief Thoughts for Others. Today, I'm going to be talking about the 2024 film Beetlejuice Beetlejuice, which is currently in theaters. Now, I really like the original film. It's pretty good as far as like a dark family comedy. It captures something that I think is really kind of neat, where it's almost reverse edgy, where because when something's edgy, it's very much like, oh yeah, this is for adults, like, oh, you see all this like gore and stuff, like, yeah, your child brain wouldn't be able to handle that. Whereas the original film is like very much the opposite, where it's like, nah, this is fine. Like, what do you mean this might be a little too intense for children? Like, nah, they can take it. And that's a really cool vibe that I really like about the original. And this new one is... it's kind of hard for me, because at the same time as I can't bring myself to love it, I also can't bring myself to hate it. I've seen it twice now, and I do think that I wouldn't say it's the best they could have done, but as far as making a sequel that shouldn't have been made, they did a fairly good job with it. Where tonally it feels in line with the first film. Story-wise, it's definitely not as well written, which is where I kind of have a lot of problems, where I really don't like that. It does seem weird to me that they really wanted to incorporate Charles into the film, and it's like, I know that you're not going to, because of like the actor and like what he did, and all that shit. But it feels really weird how much they actually do try and incorporate him without like actually having the actor. Which I suppose it's like, yeah, I mean, I guess you want to do that for like the sake of the character, because the character isn't the actor. But it does feel like, especially with like the overall film, because I think the end is where it like starts getting really messy, where, because the new film is hard to tell if they worked like from the end to the beginning, or from the beginning to the end, because you've got Mr. Juice's ex-wife, and her plot line is basically just she walks around for the whole movie, just right until the end, when she's like, I got you, and then like they end up, Jenna Ortega saves Mr. Juice from his ex-wife, which it's like, well, look, I really love Michael Keaton in this role. Like, it's a fun role and it's a fun character, but it's not a character that like we root for. It's a character that's fun to watch, but you're ultimately supposed to root against. So it feels really weird to have a not insignificant part of the plot be based on, like, well, like, you do want to, like, see him be safe, right? It's like, no, I don't really care, like, but, and there's a, because I can't tell if it's an editing mistake or if it was a, like, script writing mistake, where, so I guess basically the plot is that Charles, the dad from the first film, he has died, and so Lydia, her daughter, and Delia all go back to the original house for, like, the funeral, and then they plan on just clearing out the house and selling it, which you might be wondering, oh, what about the Maitlands? Like, you know, don't they have an investment in that home? After all, they're there for 125 years, right? I get it. I get that, you know, there are reasons why you wouldn't want Alec Baldwin in your film. I get that you'd have to, like, de-age the actors even if you did bring them back. But story-wise, it feels really weird to... Because they say that there's a 30-year gap between this film and the original. And they also say that Jenna Ortega's character is the same age that Lydia was. So she should be 15. And she can see ghosts, by the way. And so, seeing the Maitlands, so that means that the Maitlands made it like 15 years at most. Like, they just got to where Lydia moved out of the house, and then they were like, oh, okay, well, like, guess we're bored. Because Lydia says that they, as in all three of them, found a loophole that allowed the Maitlands to move on, which, I don't know, feels really weird, because, like, I get being stuck in their house, obviously, is, like, a big difference than just, like, being alive, but it's like, they do enjoy being in their house, like, that was kind of a big thing in the first one. And it feels weird that, like, because they probably died maybe when they were in their 30s, and so, like, they just get to their 40s and they're like, yep, nope, we're done. Like, that's it. Like, you know, it's like, damn, you're 125 years that you were supposed to, like, haunt this house. You only made it 15. You had another 110 years. Like, you know, it's like, it's kind of, like, it's just dumb. And I really wish that wasn't the explanation, because they even lampshade it as, like, oh, isn't that convenient? It's like, yeah, it is. I wish you would have, like, done a better job there. But, like, so then, the wife of Beetle Guy, or the ex-wife, she, through, like, random circumstance, pretty much, comes back to life in the afterlife and is, like, trying to hunt him down so that she can steal his soul. And then, like, then she goes and, like, just walks around, and then Beetle Guy, he wants to marry Lydia, and it's weird because they, like, that is something that he already wants to do, and then they try and, like, tell you later in the film that, like, oh, well, he wants to do that because if he's alive, that means that he can escape his ex-wife, which I don't think is actually the case, but Like, okay. And then by the end of the film, like, that's kind of the big conflict, is that, or, oh, I guess I should mention that Jenna Ortega meets a ghost boy who's been dead for 23 years and haunting his house, which is funny just because it's like, wow, so he lasted a lot longer than the Maitlands. But so he goes and he manipulates her basically to trade her life for his. So Lydia gets Michael Keaton's help to get Jenna Ortega back, which is really weird because then they have Delia dies randomly, and then like she dies just so that, because they have Michael Keaton splits up from Lydia because apparently he needs to use the bathroom. Then he runs into Delia and is like, hey, I need you to help me find to find Lydia. And then he does find them, and he like sends the ghost boy to hell, which, like, I like that payoff. But then we later cut to he shows up at like the chapel with Delia, and he's like, oh great, thanks for helping me find her, and pushes Delia out of the way. And it's like, no, like, that, those scenes are unconnected. Like, you didn't, like, you can't have both of those. Even though I like both of the payoffs there, you can't really have both of them. It's a bit jarring to include both of them when it's like it is a contradiction. And then this film, like the original, ends with the like wedding between Mr. Juice and Lydia. However, this one has Mr. Juice delaying the wedding by singing a really long song, which is not what happened in the original. In the original, everyone else was delaying the wedding, which makes sense, because it doesn't make sense. Why is Beetle Guy delaying the wedding? The thing that he wants, the thing that, like, arguably this film makes more of an effort to say that he needs. But yeah, he keeps delaying it. And so, yeah, I don't know. At the end of the day, it's like, there's a lot of good things in it that I do like. I find that, like, the humor, while it's not as funny as the original, like, not nearly as funny, there are quite a few good bits and stuff. I quite like Bob. I was really disappointed when they killed him off, because he's a fun character. But yeah, I don't know. For me, this will go down as a, like, yeah, if someone really wants to see a sequel to the original, then, like, sure. Yeah, they can watch this. Like, I'd be okay with that. I don't think anyone's gonna get, like, hurt from watching this. But I also don't know that you really gain a whole lot from watching this. But, you know, if you're looking for a film that you would gain a whole lot from watching, that I think everyone should watch at least once, I would say definitely go watch the original Beetlejuice. Okay, bye-bye.